Alright, so this is going to be part 1 to what if Tanjiro had Breath of the Moon. So with that being said, let's just roll the intro.
Bow in the presence of greatness. 'Cause right now that has forsaken us. You should be honored by my lateness. That I would even show up to this fake shit. So go ahead, go nuts, go.
Alright, so this is a series that I kind of wanted to do for a little bit after I did the first Demon Slayer What If. So if you haven't checked that out, go check it out now. But anyways, so before I get started with this is going to be something that has some spoilers in it, because obviously a lot of you guys don't know what I'm talking about. If you're only anime only watchers, you guys don't know about Breath of the Moon. So if you don't want to get spoiled or anything like that, then click off this video, because I will be spoiling some things, but I will try to keep that to a bare minimum since I don't want to really ruin the series for anyone. But anyways, that is your warning. So if you want to click off now, do so, and maybe come back to this video after you're done watching or even reading the series, because if you don't know, it's kind of done in the manga, so you have enough time to do that. Anyways, so with that being said, let's actually get into the story. So before we get started with the actual story, I will explain 3 of the kind of different styles, or not styles, but the different forms that the moon style has. Because if you don't know, moon, because it's so close to the sun, the original style, it is more powerful than the other ones. So let's go over and talk about the first form of the moon style. So first form is called Dark Moon Evening Palace. The person is able to draw his sword and slash swiftly in a single motion, and like all the different moon techniques, a bunch of blades will come out of that, and they're called chaotic blades. And don't worry, I'll have a picture for each one that I explain in this video. In the second form, we have Pearl Flower Moon Gazing, and this one's kind of like the first one, but instead of one slash, it's multiple slashes, and this sends out a brigade of those chaotic blades that I was talking about before. And then we have the third form, and that's going to be Lonesome Moon Chains. So in this one, the user swings his sword in 2 rapid kind of crescent slashes, and from this, it basically creates a storm of the chaotic blades, which kind of spread out. And this technique has like a large area of effect. So yeah. So the reason why I'm not telling you guys all of the different forms is because there's a lot. There's like between 16 and 15 of them. So I didn't want to go over all of them in this video. So over time, as Tanjiro learns more, I will explain them. So yeah. With that being said, let's get on to the story. So this story would basically be to the same up to the part where Tanjiro meets the old man that basically gave him shelter for the night and didn't really want him to go to his house because he is worried for demons, right? So this is before Tanjiro finds out that his family's basically been slaughtered. So it's around that area, and it's the old man who actually saves him from going there. So instead of Giryu actually coming, if you don't know who that is the water pillar. I believe that's how you pronounce his first name. But instead of Giryu actually coming, after Tanjiro is trying to take Nezuko to a doctor, instead of him coming, it's actually the old man, and Tanjiro's kind of confused by this, and the old man is kind of saddened to see what's happening. But then he kind of unleashes a sword, and Tanjiro's kind of confused by this. Like, why does this old guy have a sword? He never knew like any of this, and he didn't really expect him to do this kind of stuff. But this is obviously after Tanjiro would have fell, and then Nezuko would have tried to like attack him. So this is after that. And instead of the water pillar, like I said before, it's gonna be the old man, and I'll get to his name when it comes to it. So basically, the entire kind of confrontation between Tanjiro and Giryu doesn't really happen, but instead happens with the old man. Similar with Giryu, Tanjiro is able to show his kind of intelligence, and this in fact impresses him and decides to take him in. So when he wakes up, so this is gonna be like a little bit after, right? Because he would have knocked out both of them. He would have basically taken them both to his house, and this is where the old man actually explains what's happening. So the old man tells Tanjiro that his name is his last name, that being Michikatsu, and he says that he is part of a family that slays demon slayers, or not demon slayers, but slays demons, and he's not connected with the demon slaying kind of branch or anything like that. His family works independently of them. And you might be asking yourself, why is he named that? Why is he called Michi Katsu? The reason why is this is actually, the old man, is a direct descendant to both the Moon style and the Sun style, because that is their last names. So he is part of a direct descendant of those. So we know that the son, or the user of the Breath of the Sun, had children and continued his lineage, and this is one of them. And this is when the old man begins to explain further. He says that Nezuko has been turned into a demon, but she seems to have some of her humanity still left. And if Tanjiro wants to basically turn her back, there's only one way, and that is he has to kill the creator of demons, and that's gonna be Muzan, or Mozen. And Tanjiro's like, how am I gonna do this? And the old man basically tells him that he's going to train him. He's going to train him in the arts of, or the style of the moon. And he tells Tanjiro that this is going to be the hardest style to learn because it's one of the more powerful ones, since it's directly based off of the sun style, or the Breath of the Sun. So Tanjiro says, okay, I'll do it. So in this one, they have to move, and they go to a mountain, right? But this is going to be a different mountain from the way he goes to normally train, because this is with the different sensei, and because of that, he wouldn't know about that area. But this training that he goes through, Tanjiro is basically going to be assisted throughout the entire thing, because I would assume that the Breath of the Moon style is a lot harder to use than a lot of the other ones. So that's why he's going to be training him all the way from the beginning to the end, instead of how Tanjiro was, where he was trained at the beginning but then stopped for him to kind of train by himself. So that's really what's happening at this point. Quick note, I actually got the name wrong. It's actually going to be Sukekuni. That is the name of the old man, and that's the family name of the kind of users of both the Moon style and Sun style. So instead of saying the other one, it's gonna be Sukekuni. That's actually the name. So anyways, so in this kind of training that he's doing, he's basically having Tanjiro basically learn one style at a time, because if you don't know, there's so many styles, or there's so many forms to this one that we know of. There's just so many, and because they're so powerful, I would assume that they are very hard to learn. So what he does is that through the 2 years that Tanjiro actually trains, it's basically split up into 3 parts. For each, he learns 3 different styles, that being the first 3, since I would believe they would go in order from that. So that's why he takes so long, because he wants Tanjiro to learn at least 3 different forms, so that he is prepared, because even with 3 forms, he will be able to destroy most demons in his ways because it's so powerful. But obviously before that, he has to build up his breeding technique. So that's what he does. In this higher kind of evolution, the body where he has, you have less oxygen, your body produces a little bit more. I believe it was white cells or white blood cells. You can see this in a lot of high elevation kind of training. Elevation. I keep saying it wrong. There's also another particular thing that he has Tanjiro do, and that is to blow into kind of a Gorg. And you'll see this later on in the series, like towards the end of season 1. But this is something he also does, where he basically has Tanjiro blow into this Gorg every day until he's able to basically break it. And then he goes to another one, a bigger one, and that's what Tanjiro does. He keeps on blowing and blowing into it until the day that he can actually break it. So over these 2 years that it takes him to basically learn 3 techniques, he actually has, this is where Nezuko actually goes into that kind of sleep, and where she just doesn't do anything for a very long time. I believe she sleeps for 2 years as well, or at least 1 year. So she would have slept for so long, and Tanjiro is very worried for her, obviously, because that's his sister. After that, this is where the old man asks Tanjiro to perform the 3 forms. So this is going to be after the 2 years, and he tells him, so this is basically his kind of test to see if he's ready. So he tells him to do them back to back. So that's what Tanjiro does. He does the first, second, and third form. And this is what really impresses the old man, or the sensei, because it's a very hard technique to learn, and he was able to do it basically one after the other. So he says that he's ready, and he tells Tanjiro that if you're gonna go for the top demon, you should probably go with the demon slayers, since they will give you the most resources to actually fight them. And I would say that the demon slayers would have known about this family, but since they prefer to be alone, it's kind of that they would have like this kind of feud in where they would try to recruit them, but they would constantly say no. So this is a kind of a great opportunity for the demon slayers, because obviously these people who learn these very high techniques are very powerful, or going to be very powerful. So that's what he tells Tanjiro to do, and he gives him the area and where they're doing the basically the final selection, which is the name of where they select a few demon slayers, or a few people to become demon slayers. So Tanjiro makes his journey there so that he can actually participate. Meanwhile, this is where the old man would have written a letter to the demon slayers, basically telling them that Tanjiro is coming and that that's his pupil. So they would have been really excited, because this is the first time in basically generations that a Breath of the Moon is actually going to be part of the demon slayers. So they're very excited for that. But there's also one thing that the old man wanted Tanjiro to do, and that is to kill a certain someone, the originator of the Breath of the Moon, that being Michikatsu. So yeah, earlier I thought that was the last name, but it wasn't. So yeah, so he wants him to slay him, since this is gonna be a spoiler for anyone, but if you are watching this video already, then you already know that's gonna be a spoiler. So this is your last chance, I guess. So Michikatsu is a demon now. He is the second strongest demon, or in the kind of the 12 moons, I believe it was called. I think he's actually number 1. So that's why he's very powerful, because he's someone who is a demon that also knows a breath style. So that's what the old man basically wants him to do. He wants him to avenge his family, or not really avenge, but basically bring honor to his family by killing him. So that's one reason why he wants to join, or wants him to join the Demon Slayer, so he could also do that, because it's basically been a dark kind of stain on his family's life, or family kind of reputation, because of that. Because if you don't know, if a person that you train or are related to becomes a demon, it's kind of a shameful kind of thing. That's why you see actually I won't say that, since that is another spoiler, and I'll try to keep it to a minimum. But anyways, so in this kind of final selection, Tanjiro is a little bit different. His personality is slightly different. I think he's a bit more serious and a little bit more calm, because that's the way of the moon style. So as he gets in there, he would see a lot of people getting killed in the forest, but he's not really going to really help them, because he's just really driven to kill Muzan and kill Michikatsu. I mean, he's really driven to kill those two, so he's just focusing on himself for now, and then later on he will be a bit kind. So as he kills and continues through, there would be someone running through, and as he's running, a giant demon will be following him, and this is where Tanjiro decides to attack. So this is where Tanjiro uses the first form, that being Dark Moon Evening Palace, and he just does a slash, and from these slashes a bunch of chaotic blades come out of them. So this basically tears off all of the guy's arms. So this is the giant arm demon that basically is just covered in them, and he doesn't really have any connection with Tanjiro, because he doesn't have the kind of mask that you see in the anime and the manga, so he can't assume that he's part of the other person's basically water style. So he doesn't know that he's this pupil, or there's no way to really tell. So this attack really does a number to him, because it does a wide slash. It does cut off the arms protecting his face, and then the multiple chaotic blades that come out of it basically cut all the other arms. And after that, this is where Tanjiro just cuts off his head, normally without any kind of style. After that, it becomes relatively easy for Tanjiro. So Tanjiro, after this point, is going after demons in the forest. So he's not trying to survive, but rather just hunt them. I think in this one, Tanjiro has a bit more malice towards demons than he does in canon, because I want to make his personality a bit different than it was in the other what ifs. So instead of going for, trying to survive, he's actively hunting these demons. So by the time that it's sunrise, there's basically no demons left, and because of that, they have to get new demons to be there. So after that, Tanjiro and a bunch of other people survive, and they're kind of impressed. The two twins are impressed and tell everyone that Tanjiro killed the most demons. He actually cleared out the forest, and everyone's just shocked, but Tanjiro doesn't say much because he doesn't want to brag. So after that, this is where they say that they're gonna have the process to get your swords, and this is where a particular person with a haircut basically grabs one of the twins and actually just tells him that he wants a sword now, and he actually hits her. And this is where Tanjiro actually pulls up his sword up to his neck and basically tells him to let go, or else he's gonna press his blade into his neck. This is where the guy actually does let go, and all that is done. So the twins say thank you, and this is where it goes to the process of getting the ore for their kind of swords. So yeah, so this is where I'm gonna end it. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. If you want to see these videos early, you can check out my Patreon over at patreon.com/ComicSansTheMan. And if you made it to the end of the video, please comment down CS so I know you support the channel. And if you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe. If you like this video, please give it a like, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, that's gonna be the video. So yeah.